Hit that wrong button, Josh. Didn't know you had to be a technical guy to work here, to be a radio guy.
No, there you go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Phil Nightingale, General Manager here at Hambelton Ford. Josh Prophet, our Service Director, taking your calls at 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it might be. We're here to answer your calls. I know you can get a lot of stuff out there on Google, but we're just talking in the sales meeting, Josh, about some of the things out there about the new Bronco that are false. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Something false on the internet. So anyway, hey, it's a call-in show. It's the only show I know you get paid to call in on. Josh and I got a lot of years of experience here to help you understand your cars. And kind of like back in the day when I worked with my dad, I could answer a lot of things over the phone. But today, boy, it's kind of hard, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it's, there's just so many different systems in these things, and got the opportunity to visit a couple of different Votex this week and talking about all the systems in these cars and the complexity of them. And they just, they make them more and more, safer every day, more fuel efficient every day. And with that comes, comes complexity for sure.
That's exactly right. So anyway, let's get the phones ringing. Got a lot of people out there watching. I'd love to answer your calls. If you want to jump on the chat line too, we can take those. But hey, do us a big favor. Go over to YouTube Live. We're trying to grow that YouTube Live and get some more likes out there. We want to grow that then we can do some more exciting things with this show. From that part to help with that. But go to YouTube, Mel Hambelton Ford YouTube, and follow us there, like us there, and get us some likes so we can get this show. There's a lot of things we want to go do with this show, but it's going to take a little bit to get that show up and running until we get them. I think we're at 450 or something like that. So we got a little ways to go, but jump over to YouTube Live, like the Mel Hambelton Ford page, and let's go. James Furman, morning, James. Delbert Alt, as always, good morning. Thanks for watching. And Keith King, there you are. Good morning, Keith. And everybody's going here good. So let's get the phones. We're going 316-462-3673. Anyway, Josh, I want to talk about, we're in the sales meeting. We're going over the Bronco Sport, the Mach-E that's here.
Yep.
Everybody's kind of confused. We've got a Mach-E sitting here. Can't sell it to get 4,000 miles on it. So come out here, get in that thing, and go take it for a cruise. It's pretty cool to drive. Josh, have you drove the black one yet?
So I have not. I again was headed to one of the Votex. We took it down there to show and demo on that deal. Kelly drove it down there. I was going to drive it back, and actually, while we were down there, one of the other people from Ford had an issue with one of their F-150s, and so I was going to bring the Mach-E back, but instead I got in that F-150 to bring it back that was broke. So didn't have the advantage to do that yet, but we did take the white one the other day for the spin, and it's just impressive. Still to this day, as many vehicles as we see in and out of the service drive, and occasionally you'll jump or run across a hybrid, but and the F-150s now with the Power Boost F-150s, I did have the opportunity to drive one of those the other day, but you just push that key button and you just expect like there's supposed to be a noise or a motor that starts or something like that, and then these electric vehicles, it just doesn't happen, and you think instantly it's like, oh, okay, something's going on, what's happening here? And then it takes a second or two to understand, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, Josh. And so what we're talking about in the sales meeting, we've got the Mach-E here. It's a black one. It's extended range, so about 300 miles worth of range on that thing. You need to come out and take it for test drive. It's very cool. We also got a Bronco Sport that's also got to get 4,000 miles on it for you can sell it. Got an bike accessory kit on that one. So come out and take it for a test drive. Can't sell it either until it gets 4,000 miles on it. The whole idea behind this is to get more customers behind the wheel of this. I get it. So the sooner we can get these 4,000 miles on it, some lucky person can own those cars. I do know they're working a deal on the Mach-E, and I know they're working a deal on the Bronco. I haven't got them locked in yet, but I know they're very close. We talked about it in the sales meeting this morning. Broncos, full-size Broncos, we're still not maintaining, but taking the orders that made reservations, converting them. I've got 3 people coming in this morning to convert their Bronco orders. So much stuff out there in these forums about the Bronco. And I'm telling you, if it's not coming from Ford, don't believe it. Everybody's out there speculating what Ford's going to do, what's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of things out there saying what's going to happen for the 22 model year. And so far, the only thing that Ford has told me that's new for 22 is going to be possibly have the 7-speed manual behind the 2.7 motor. That's it. But these forums are predicting and trying to guess, and they're trying to get their attention and everything else like that. But trust me, if it's not coming from Ford, you can listen to it. You can get some ideas and everything else like that. But so far, that is all that's happened. And right now, the late availability is that black painted top, and everything. And of course, the 2.7s a little bit, and the Sasquatch a little bit. Late availability, or limited availability is what I should say. I'm hoping Ford will get out there and see all the Sasquatch packages we're building.
Yeah, wanting.
And we'll try to get some more of those out there from that part. So
pump that up a little bit.
Exactly. So, Fred Cross, good morning. Delbert Arch watching. And yeah, I would love for you to update your edge as soon as you're ready to go, Delbert. So let us know there. You know, Joshua, we forgot about
what they get for calling in.
Exactly. Whose fault? That's me.
I'll take the blame.
I got it. So anyway, hey, 316-462-3673. It's the number to call in. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries. And only show I know you get paid to call in on. So Josh, as always, what's in that package valued over $130?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the steering, brakes, tires, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, just making sure that it's geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. We'll also get $10 to Mel's Diner so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here at the big corner with us, as well as complete nitrogen. So you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer for your tires. And then a BG products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then a can of CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting the vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, 316-462-3673. Let's get the phones ringing and so we can give away some of these packages. And you know what? About every package anymore, we're having to give away also a free diagnostic because we just can't diagnose these things without hooking a computer up to them and see what's going on there too. So 316-462 main store, the dealership. The girls will get your name and number on there, and then they'll patch you through to the show. And would love to get you on here and answer anything at all. And again, you want to talk about the Bronco, you want to talk about the Mach-E, whatever works is great. So anyway, Josh, the next thing I want to bring up is the I got to a couple weeks ago, I got to drive the 21 F-150 and had it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. Sold it.
Yep.
So I had to get in a Super Dude. That's terrible too. I know. Anyway, so we finally got in a couple of the hybrid.
The Power
truck.
Boost.
Yeah, Power Boost trucks. So here's what I want to tell you. I live about 8 miles from the store.
Uh-huh.
I got in that thing, and granted, I did put it in the eco mode. And yes, I did try my dangest to get the best fuel economy that I could. Normally, when I drive just a regular EcoBoost or whatever in town like that, it's about 16 miles to the gallon, just tell you. You know, hate to tell you, kind of like to get going, not to get there or anything else like that. But
fuel economy is not your top priority.
No.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so I got in the truck, and naturally, yes, I hit the key. Nothing happened. I thought, God dang it, what thing's dead? What's going on? Well, again, it's a hybrid. So I had to put it in gear. It took off. It's on electric. And I will tell you, like I said, I did put it in eco mode. And so for you who don't know what the Power Boost is, it's a hybrid. And it's got another, except we got a caller coming in here too. And it's got a electric motor behind the engine in front of the transmission there that helps power boost this thing. And I have yet to put it in the sport mode and hammer it yet, Josh, to see how fast it really is, because it's pretty dang fast too. Anyway, I drove home. Went through a drive-through to grab something to eat, and it was amazing how much that truck shut off. Didn't run. I went almost 1.9 miles. It was on electric for the 8. I got 26.9 miles to the gallon.
Wow, that's some impressive fuel economy.
Well, let's see. We got a phone call?
Yeah, we do. We got Daniel on the line. They're getting Daniel patched through here, so we'll be with him just in a little bit. But
anyway, everybody, let's go over to YouTube Live or YouTube on Mel Hambelton Ford. Do us a favor. We're waiting on Daniel to get patched through here. Give us a like over there. Trying to grow this face thing up a little bit on this podcast. And once we get to 1,000 likes on YouTube, we can do a lot more things with the show and more options on the show and all that kind of stuff. So do us a favor. If you're watching today or listening, jump over to YouTube and like the Mel Hambelton Ford page and give us a like there, and we can help grow this show even more for what we're doing there too. So
good morning, Daniel. You're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Well, golly gee, that ain't my favorite mechanism.
What's happening, buddy?
I got a new one for you, gentlemen.
That's odd. I didn't really a new one.
Yeah, 2009 Kia Spectra.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw out some old school terminology. Okay.
Okay.
I popped the hood to check the fluid levels, and it was about a half a quart low, little 4-cylinder. When I opened up the valve cover, you know what homogenized oil is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Can you give me a few hints? Because the radiator, let me speculate, about a half a gallon of antifreeze, 70-30 pre-mixed stuff. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, because it's not on the dipstick, it's only in the valve cover. I used a little inspection scope, into and I can't even talk this morning. Shucky darn.
Shucky darn.
Endoscope camera.
Yep.
Okay, I put that on my laptop, put the camera in there, and it's pretty thick. Do you or Josh have any idea? I'm serious, because belongs to my landlord. She's 86 years old. She cannot afford to have this car break down. So, one, is there any way to find out where it's coming from? Two, on a serious note, is there any additives, say it's a blown head gasket or maybe a cracked block, hairline fracture kind of thing? Is there any additives we can use to seal it up until we get something better? What say you?
Okay, well, first of all, it was just a half a quart low on oil, right? How much low was it on coolant?
Yeah. On fuel?
Coolant. Antifreeze.
Antifreeze is about a half a gallon.
Okay, how much have you drove it since you added that half a gallon in it?
Well, her ex-daughter-in-law drove to Wichita and back, so that's about 125 miles.
Okay.
In Hutchinson, she drove it about 30 miles, so right at 200 miles so far.
Okay, so now how's the
since we added on?
Yeah, how's the coolant level now then after that 200 miles of driving?
It's back low again. I got to add more antifreeze this morning.
Okay, because what I was really thinking, you probably don't have a coolant leak or anything else like that. And these cold temperatures, if these cars just get started for a little bit of time and shut off and everything else like that, that builds up so much condensation in that valve cover, and that condensation is mixing with that oil. And that's what you're seeing, I think. I'm going to tell you my opinion, and Josh, you can add in here what you think too. In my opinion, what I think you ought to do is get that car good and hot. I mean, drive it probably 15, 20 miles at highway speed. So you got the RPM up and everything else like that. Change the oil.
Okay.
Put new oil filter in it and oil. And then I bet you money, that's all you've got. You've just built up so much condensation in that valve cover from all these cold temperatures we've had. And the car's not getting up to operating temperature to burn that out of there from that part. But again, if you're still losing coolant, we still got an issue there too. So I don't know, Josh, where you're at there.
Yeah, one, I'd want to look at the coolant system. The other thing I was wondering about was the actually PCV system in that vehicle being plugged or not being able to breathe like it could, and potentially causing an issue with it as well. Typically what we find. Yeah, typically what we find. Go ahead.
I had an old Dodge that would do that, and when I changed out the PVC valves and the filter on the breather, it reduced it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
So that would.
Last month, you know what senior commodities are?
What again?
In Hutchinson, they give out commodities to seniors.
Okay, yeah, now I'm following you.
We were sitting in line, idling, and the engine light came on, and I looked at the temp gauge, and it is over 200 degrees. And that was just idling in line, and it was about 15, 20 degrees out. But
yeah.
Now,
so that thing,
go ahead.
Well, that thing, with it being an 09, it probably has a 205, maybe even 210 degree thermostat in it. So the temperature being that high doesn't really concern me from that aspect of it.
Well, the oil, her grandson-in-law, did an oil change and oil filter change, about 1,800 miles ago. So that's about 60 days ago. Is right around the turn of the year when he did it. It was real nice out. but he never, to my knowledge, tinkered with the PVC valve.
Yeah. The other side of it, I would wonder, as far as oil, what kind of oil got put back in it, whether it was conventional oil or semi-synthetic oil, or what oil's in it, would be another thing that I would wonder about. But.
Well, I'm not trying to put a plug, but maybe I made a mistake of buying SuperTech generic oil at Walmart, the 5W30.
Yeah.
But it's still losing coolant out of the radiator.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, that's my worry there. Somehow it's, and I even added water, antifreeze to the overfill. Oh, the little marking on the jug on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So I filled it up to that line, and it was gone in like 2 or 3 days. I checked it to see how it's going, and it's sucking that water right out of the overfill.
Well, Daniel, I think what we need to do, we'll add a diagnostic onto your package as well, or for you.
I told the lady that answered the phone, I really don't use your. But if you want to transfer me back to her, I'll go ahead and get the coupon with the diagnostics, and then me and my landlord will bring the car over to you guys, or how you want to do that.
Yeah, we can do that. So
I don't think we can transfer you back, Daniel. Why don't you just call back to the store and tell them what we got, and we'll
tell them that you want to give them your information.
We'll text
so
them back and forth there and let them know you're going to be calling back.
Well, you both talked at the same time, so with my hearing, I didn't hear both of you.
Okay, call back to the. We can't transfer you back to her, so just call back to the store. We will text her and let her know you're going to be calling back in to give your information for the diagnostic. Okay.
Okay. So, but the other question, and then I'll get off the phone. Is there any additives that I can add either to the engine or the radiator to minimize the flow of the loss of fluid?
If it's a coolant leak, a head gasket or something like that, or an intake or whatever that's leaking in there, Danny, I wouldn't put nothing in the coolant to stop it. We need to figure out what's going on there, where that coolant's going. As far as an engine oil additive, I mean, I do think, hate to degrade that oil you're using, but I think maybe a little bit better grade oil would help a little bit. Who knows? We might find that PCV system or something there too. But any kind of an oil additive that I suggest or would want to use, and I use it in my stuff, is the motor oil additive from BG. So
I would love to buy that, but we can't afford it. So I use literally the next best thing. And here's a plug. I use Lucas oil treatment in my old 88 1-ton. I love it. It's not as good as BG products, but gentlemen, it's the next best thing. Okay.
Daniel, for calling into the show today, you'll actually receive some of that as well. So
so we'll give you a couple cans of that MOA and stuff too. So.
Well, thank you. Let me call the lady up front. And again, you guys are awesome. I listen to the so-called Other Under the Hood on Facebook. They don't go into the questions like you guys do. Plus, they don't have the experience you two mechanics do. Thank you very much.
Daniel,
God bless all.
You too.
Thanks, Daniel. On Facebook.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, let's get a few questions here. Greg Stump. Hey, Greg, I know that's a long drive for an oil change, but someday maybe you come back from the racing world or everything else like that too. But hope to see you at Bristol from that part. Going to be fun and excited to go to Bristol and race there on the dirt from that part. Fred Cross, hey, you're very welcome. Last weekend here at the race open house, had a lot of fun, had a lot of people in here, gave away a lot of prizes. So yeah, Fred, thanks very much, and look forward to it next year. And Delbert Art, thanks for the like and share. Appreciate that very much too. So 316-462-3673. Anyway, Josh, for Daniel, come on the phone. We were talking about the limited power boost truck that I drove, 26.9 miles to the gallon. Now today, here's what I did. I decided I'm going to drive pretty hard to get here. And this time I didn't put it in eco mode. I drove. I'm going to tell you, I used the cruise because I love that adaptive cruise and everything. And I love pulling up to a stop sign that's stopping you. Hit the room button, it takes off again and goes. So I used that. No, I didn't drive the speed limit. I hardly ever do that. Do you, Josh?
I do. I don't know.
Liar.
I'm gonna move away from the lightning bolt that's getting ready to strike down here.
And I got 17 miles, 17.1 this morning, but it did no electric. That's because, I was accelerating hard as I was doing it and everything.
Well, and the other thing is it's got to get the engine up to operating temperature.
Exactly. I didn't do anything. I just backed out.
Yeah.
I did. I backed right out of the garage, took off. I just wanted to see what it'd do in normal mode, 17. But again, it didn't even get in electric mode. But I will tell you, I did charge the battery quite a bit on the braking.
Yeah.
It's got a braking. It also tells you how good you did the braking, Josh. I'm amazed at how much sometimes I can really get that thing good. I got it to 98% one time. Most of the time I'm in the 40s.
I was going to say, that is. Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it is. But anyway, you need to come out and check out these hybrid trucks. It's cool. The technology that's in them. And then, Josh, did you see that guy that got national news down there in Texas with his F-150? His house was out of power. He backed his F-150 up with a generator, plugged in, and started running his house.
Oh, yeah.
So he got national news with that. So if you haven't seen the onboard generators, that's pretty cool too. Trust me, I wish that I had that truck a couple of days ago. So I was about 5 hours without power, but I don't know how to hook the dang thing up or whatever without getting that set up or whatever. But I was 5 hours without any power at my house. Would have loved to have that F-150 backed up to the door, charging my house up. But so a lot of technology in that truck, and you need to come out and check out those F-150s. The ride is what I still can't get over. I mean, I jumped in that Super Duty and I missed my F-150 real well. And I got back in that F-150 real quick. Yeah. I don't know how they get that truck to ride away with it. As smooth as it is, as quiet as it is, it's crazy.
Yeah, just the amount of technology that they've put into those F-150s is it's phenomenal for sure.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, let's get the phones ringing. I want to talk to somebody this morning. 316-462-3673. And, Josh, we've kind of been doing kind of a terrible job of thanking our sponsors of the show. It keeps us going each and every week. And the guys down at Big Corner Creative helped us get this show set up and get it going, helped us keep the podcast going. They post it everywhere. But again, anything you need to advertise your business, or if you need a web page design, need a vehicle wrap, need window wraps, need a window tint, need race car wraps, whatever, those guys at Big Corner Creative, they got a little slogan there that says, just Google us. And you'll see what all the things those guys do from that part. So, BG Products. And again, everybody thinks that I use BG Products here in the store just because of they're a sponsor of our show and they're on my race car. And well, no, I hate to tell you, I started using them in 1985. Loved them ever since. And the products they'd have, the way they keep growing the products. And what I love, the research labs right here in Wichita.
Yep.
And we just got a great partnership with those guys. They had a great display in our open house last week.
They did, yeah.
Have an engine kind of cut apart and watched it move and watched it go inside there. It's pretty cool. So great partnership with BG Products. And then again, also Go To Rent. Hey, if you're looking for a rental car, 12, 15 passenger van, give Stan a call right inside here at Hambelton Ford for your rental needs. And he's been swamped this week with rentals because of people's cars not starting and all the stuff and everything's food from there. So, Josh, the other thing I thought we would talk about a little bit this morning is we had a lot of issues with the diesels this week.
Yeah, very much so.
So let's talk about what happened there, what we need to do to our diesels. A lot of guys out there mad at their trucks because they didn't start. Well, you can't be mad at your truck when you don't take care of it.
Yeah, for sure. The we had a lot of gelling issues with diesel fuel this week for sure. And essentially what that is that's just the diesel fuel getting cold enough that it essentially, it kind of freezes in a sense, and it basically turns the fuel tank into a candle. It waxes up, and then the pumps will kick on when you're trying to fire it up, and it will send all of that wax into the filters and just plug them up. It just does not. It just starves the vehicle for fuel. It cannot get any fuel when you're trying to push wax, so to speak, from that side. There are a lot of different additives out there. There's even different claims to fame to each additive, but what I'm going to tell you is that is certainly a preventative service, and that has to be done previous to any type of gelling or any type of lower temperatures. And if it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to work very well. And then, once you do have a vehicle that gels up, really the only way to get it ungelled is by heat. Just by the vehicle warming back up, and it's gotta warm up pretty good. It's not just a couple of degrees one way or the other to be able to turn that waxing back into fuel for sure.
And you're right. There are a lot of products out there for your diesel. I'm telling everybody when it hits 30 degrees, you better start putting something in that thing because you never know how long that tank of fuel is going to last.
Yeah.
How quick the temperature is going to change, and the weather never changes in Kansas, right? From that part, but yeah, I got several phone calls from guys been out of shape and mad and everything else. Where I get it when your truck don't start, you're mad, but it's nothing wrong with the truck. And I don't care what you had, a Ford, you got a Dodge, you got a GMC or a Chevy. The diesel fuel is the diesel fuel. It's all going to wax up and do that from that part. And you've got to put an additive in that fuel for that part.
We've had, a couple of phone calls where we had to call wreckers out. And I mean, it didn't matter what company you were calling. They were, in some cases, even a day of getting a vehicle back, towed back in just because of how busy they were with the colder climate. And the majority of it was diesels gelling up like that. And so, there was a couple cases where we just went out and got the vehicle on our own instead of waiting on a wrecker company from that side of things. And it's one of the other real misconceptions, I think, is people think, okay, well, I have a diesel, and if I plug it in, then I'm good to go.
Not true.
And so what that really does, I mean, that takes care of the engine oil and the coolant, but it doesn't do anything for the fuel. There's nothing.
We'll do a little bit for the fuel that's in the engine, but as soon as you start it, that's getting pushed right back, and the fuel that's in the tank's getting pushed is full of wax. So
kind of reversing or right back in the same boat that you started in for sure. So don't get me wrong, plugging a diesel in helps tremendously, especially in the temperatures that we had there as far as that cold startup, but it doesn't do anything for the gelling concern.
And again, I tell everybody on the diesel, they tell you you can go to -20 not to have to plug them in.
Yeah.
I get that, but I'm telling you, if it's 30 degrees out, I'd be plugging my diesel in. No doubt, I'd have it plugged in and ready to go. So
it's just so much easier on the engine.
Well, think about the less wear and everything you're doing to that engine as you start that thing with that cold oil and everything else, and from that part. And the sooner we can get that oil to those places, the better off we are. So anyway, I hope we're done with this cold weather I'm hoping for.
That was the last cold snap, last snow. I'm predicting that right now.
Okay, good for you.
I hope I'm just well predicted. I'm be as good as
if you're
accurate
wrong
as a weatherman. I don't know.
I get you. I understand. I always say, I know the weather's hard to predict and all that kind of stuff and everything else too, but it is crazy the technology we have in our hand to watch the radars now and watch the forecast and know where it's at. And some of these apps are pretty good. They really are pretty good on track us and all that kind of stuff too. But okay, Josh, I'm holding you to it that's the last snow, the last freeze. How about the last freeze? Got to be the last freeze.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Okay. Yeah.
I think sometimes Kroger maybe controls the weather so they can sell groceries. It's going to be 10 inches of snow. Okay, it's 2.
Yeah, I think they pay the weatherman.
That could be too.
So,
anyway. Yes, a lot of just cold snap stuff. Aside from that, diesels, batteries was another big thing. A lot of batteries go down on vehicles, and stuff like that was another huge one.
And it's once these batteries get so low, the water that's in them freezes, and you're done. There's nothing you're going to do with that thing ever. I was kind of coming through my neighborhood a couple of days ago, and they were shoveling the snow, and they had the truck out there and had the jumper cables on it. Next morning, you could see they just took the back end of it and slid it around so they could get it out of the way because they never get it started. It's still sitting there today.
Still
just
there.
Need to go get a battery. There's just no way, even if it warms up to, like it's supposed to get in, 40s or 50s or whatever tomorrow, whatever, that battery's toast. Once it's frozen, it's over. Just get another battery and roll on with the situation. But you're right, these cold temperatures are hard on those batteries. That's why every time you come in, you get a service with us, we load test that battery and tell you where you're at. And what I love about that is it tells you if you got a 500 cranking that battery, it tells you if you're 450 or 400. I'm going to tell you if it's down to 350, I'm replacing that thing. I'm not going to wait for that thing to go bad from that part. So make sure just ask us each time you come in, what's my battery testing? How's it testing? To know that thing's got the right cold cranking amps and everything else like that. Back in the day with my dad, we didn't realize how much damage we were doing to test a battery. We were putting a load on that thing and cranking it down and all that kind of stuff. But that's all we knew. That's all we had. Now today with these
electronic testers, the digital testers,
it's crazy how easy you can test one of those things and tell what's going on with that battery and know that you're not going to have something laid out on you. But again, these cold snaps like that can snap a battery so fast, so quick. It's crazy.
The other thing that we got, more frequent for sure in these temperature changes like this was low tire lights. that was another huge thing, and even at the point, I mean, you think if it's literally zero out, and your tire temperature is starting out at that, and you're driving down the road, and let's say it gains to 140 degrees, which typically it'd be a little bit more than that, but that's a huge temperature gap,
huge.
from one side to the other. And so it's easy for these tires to gain 6-7 psi, just by driving a temperature or a tire that is that cold going down the road. That's where nitrogen plays a big part in that and helps that. But yeah, low tire pressure indicators were another big thing that we've seen this week for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy that little bit of temperature, can drop that thing into there. That's why I love the tire pressure monitoring systems. I know sometimes you think it's just a light on, just reset my light. No, that tire's low. It's low for a reason. I love to be able to see my tire temperatures now today driving down the road, because you can't tell so many of these tires today if they are low.
Yeah,
you get in these cold temperatures, take off, and you don't have enough air pressure. Next thing you know, you've hit something, hit a bump and deal. You pop the bead off, doing anything, and you've ruined the tire. Before you take off, you know where you're at and where you stand. I mean, it's just crazy how much better we are with that situation.
We just don't have near like what we used to. I mean, they're making tires now that are typically 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 mile tires for sure. And you don't see a lot of defective tires or tire blowouts because of a manufacturer defect in the tire or something wrong with the tire. What typically happens is it loses air. Loses air from a puncture or just being low from not being reinflated. But then when you drive on it low, then it gains too much temperature in the tire, and then it can't hold the temperature, and it ends up blowing out from there. But and just about every scenario, that's what we find.
Yep. It's, years ago, I get it. There was tire blowouts with the sidewalls giving out and everything else. Today, if you see a tire shredded on the highway, that's a semi that's had a retread, and that retread has come apart.
Yeah.
Or again, they've let a tire go low and don't know that inside dual's loose or whatever. That's what you see on the highway. But today, these tires, we really don't have a defective tires anymore. We just have a situation of a low pressure, overheating, tire gives out, and away you go. And just think about it. These tire pressure monitors are going to tell you if you got a low tire, pull over and get some air, get something to preserve that tire. Josh is always trying to sell me 8 tires on his used cars instead of 4. Yeah, that's just because how expensive these tires are getting today. Now, granted, they know they do last longer than they did years ago. I remember back starting my dad when we first got in the tire business, we were changing tires every 10,000 miles. Now we're going 80, 90, sometimes 100,000 miles on tires.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. And I've got a chat. I need to go here. Got to get my glasses on so I can see, Josh.
Let's see what we got.
James Furman talking about hybrid cars. I remember when the Mercury Rainer hybrid came out, it was working at wherever and was driving it around. He stopped to talk to me and the sales manager, and I was talking outside. That thing was running so quiet, he thought he had shut it off and turned the key off, and it made a scream, scared the heck out of him. Yeah, I bet it did. And that's back to where we say, Josh, we hit these keys now and nothing happens because it's getting ready to run on electric and from that part. So anyway, got some text coming in. Let me make sure I got everybody answered here. And anyway,
yeah, the hybrid, that Mustang Mach-E is very cool. These cars are so close to autonomous driving. This Mustang out here. I haven't been in the black one yet, but I know that white one was. The F-150s too they're equipped with the sensors and everything for the hands-free driving. I think we'll end up seeing that later on this year. From that side of it, but it's just amazing. The Copilot 360 in these things, thinking back from the lane assist, even just a year ago, and then driving one of them now with the Copilot 360 on it, and just how much more advanced that system is, how better it operates and works, and it's just crazy.
And that truck, that Power Boost truck's got that lane keeping and stuff in there too. Of course, it tells you to put your hand back on the wheel. I have played with that, but it makes you nervous to let go of the wheel and see what it's going to do. But it does a phenomenal job, and we have coming. I don't know exactly when it's coming. Maybe Josh, from the technical side of it. When Ford's got on the F-150, they've got a prep package that's coming that we'll be able to install the self-driving truck.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's going to cost, what it's going to be or whatever, but excited for that. I can see the things on the truck where it's going to have the cameras and different things working on that stuff too. So I know they're very close to releasing that. I know they're fighting a situation of the truck actually watches your eyes to know if you're paying attention. So they're fighting the calibration of when someone's got a pair of sunglasses on is what they're fighting to be able to see what's going on with it.
That the F-150 there, in the A-pillar up there by the there's a little lens right there, and then on that Mustang Mach-E, it's just right above the steering column. Is it that little black bar right above the steering wheel right there? So it's right around the corner, very much so, and you know. What amazes me is just how safe these vehicles are. I was talking with one of the VOTEC classes, and we were going over all the safety features and functions, and somebody made the comment of we were talking about the collision avoidance in the vehicle, and I was explaining how it operated and stuff like that. And well, the comment was that, what if it doesn't catch whatever it was that you were going to run into, or which at this point, these vehicles are very, very durable and seem to work very well. But I guess my comment back to him was that, these are just aids to make us safer. And so it doesn't, at this point, doesn't take the responsibility out of the driver's hands to make sure that everything's going okay. And if you missed it and the computer picks it up and it, saves a collision, what disadvantage of that?
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people are looking for, the car messes up, you're still liable. You're behind the wheel from that part. So you're still liable for what happens to that car. It's not the manufacturer's fault if something jumps out in front of it or does whatever. You're still liable for what's ever there in front of you, what you hit or whatever too. So from that part. You got another caller in line, right?
Yeah,
Josh?
we do. We've got Delbert. We'll get Delbert patched through here and visit with him and see what he's got going on this day. Today as well. But the safety features that they've put in these cars are just absolutely phenomenal. How quick they respond, how quick they stop, how quick they maneuver from that side, and it's just amazing seeing some of these vehicles come in that have been in a collision, and you're thinking, man, is anybody going to walk away from that? And they did. So
they didn't even get hurt. Yeah.
Yep. Good morning. You're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this fine Saturday morning?
Doing very well.
Warming up.
Perfect. How are you, buddy?
Good. I finally will get my car in the shop on Monday. Finally got enough parts. I think there was a little hold up with the weather, but get it going in there and get the fender replaced and get some of that front end redone. Get some paint on it, get it back on the road.
Get her back on the road.
But, I wanted to hit up on the tire thing you guys talked about earlier. I posted it on.
Yeah, you got 54,000 miles out of your tires, right?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty good for a factory installed tire. They usually don't last that long. They were getting to where they weren't doing very well in the wet, so it's time to change them.
Yep, I get it.
And but I did with the snow, but it didn't help with the ice.
Yeah, I get it.
Just so people know, analog brakes work. However, on ice, nothing can stop you. You can only try to avoid the wreck as best you can. And that's what I did in my case.
Yeah.
And I sent you guys the pictures and how it fared, but it finally goes in Wednesday.
Yeah, I tell you, Delbert, even though you say it won't stop you on the ice or whatever, I will say the analog brakes will get you, your stopping distance will be drastically reduced compared to without the analog brakes. So you're right, it can't stop you. I get it. But it does help that stopping distance and hopefully slows you down a little bit more so that impact isn't as hard.
On the other side, it controls the skid, so you're in more control of where you go as opposed to just being spinning out of control.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It did help me turn the vehicle to the left a bit to where I was not able to hit the full force on the back of the vehicle in front of me, just the side of it. But $5,022 damage is what they estimated, and it might go up a little bit from there. I think the mounts on the antifreeze bottle is probably broken, but it hit that left side or right side. Excuse me.
It's kind of like when the airbags first started coming out in these cars. I think it was in the 80s or something like that. People were scared to death of them and everything else like that. And I remember one guy said, "Look, I got hurt because of the airbag." And I want to say, if that airbag hadn't been there, you'd have been hurt a lot worse. From that part, but again,
they might have been dead.
Yeah, exactly. So these airbags are tremendous saviors and everything else like that. Now the negative to it, the airbags is we're totaling so many cars because of the cost it takes to put these airbags back in the cars and stuff. It's crazy when these things blow, how much it costs to repair them, for sure.
Well, luckily nothing blew on mine, but it's just the fact that it's going to be down for a little bit. But you guys, what I was trying to talk about on the Ford Edge is they really need to update the body style a little bit without making it smaller. My wife likes the Edge on the inside, but what she doesn't like is the way the hood's shaped. It makes her feel like it's got wings on the hood, and it bothers her trying to drive it. That's why we never bought that. We bought the Escape instead.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, there is a lot that goes into the manufacture of these vehicles, and when they come up with body designs and stuff, I mean, there's different regulations all across the world. When they're doing that, they're not just thinking of the U.S. market and what has to take place there. But I forget where I was. I think it was a training course somewhere, and they were talking about that, and basically all the rules and regulations that they have to go through to make sure that globally that the car is acceptable. And so it's amazing what they have to work around. It's not just let's model something out of clay and make it look as cool as we can and and produce it. We've got to make it functional too. So, but I definitely think they do a phenomenal job with styling. Trying to adapt to those rules and also think about just cosmetic. Period.
Yep, exactly. Well, anyway, Delbert, hope you get your car back pretty soon and get it all back tip-top shape and everything else like that part. And I'm glad you're safe. Glad nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
And thank God for some of these.
We all good there. It's just it was the first day of the very cold weather that started coming in. It dropped while we were standing there exchanging information. It dropped 5 degrees. So
yeah, I bet. Well, anyway, Delbert, thanks.
You guys have a great day, and I want to say that get everybody out there, like, share, and subscribe to your channel so we can get it growing. I see you got 451
we're gaining
subscribers now, so let's get it growing, guys.
You got it. Thanks, Delbert.
Like, share, and subscribe it myself. So here we go. Everybody that's on there, get it going, and everybody else will hopefully get it out there and get your channel going.
Appreciate it very much.
Get monetized.
Are we losing?
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Delbert.
Thanks, Delbert. We're kind of cutting in and out there a little bit. Got Greg Stump and Brandon Gibbons giving each other a little flack on the chat side here. We'll see if Greg Stump will pick up the phone and call us from that part. Hey, here's a question. I got to get my eyes back on again, Josh, to read my text on this one. Christopher Red, my morning gentleman, love to watch your show response. How often should you flush the cooling system and or the transmission on a manual? I have a 2014 Focus with 160,000 miles on it. So, Josh, the cooling systems, we used to never flush them back in the day until we saw a whole bunch of rust or corrosion stuff in them. Because all we knew about back in those days was strictly
freeze point.
That's it. Now these coolants have come out and their claim to fame is 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles. But that
lifetime,
that claim to fame is a freeze point. That's it. They're not talking about the pH level, which now we know more about antifreeze and stuff. And Chris, it's more about changing it when the pH gets off, either high or low from that part. Because when the pH gets high, you get corrosion, start building in there, starts eating away at the metals and that sort of thing. And that's when it's time to do a coolant flush. So how often is it? I mean, I want to watch that pH, and the minute I see that pH starting to change, I'm yanking it out. I want some different coolant in there. And I'm not talking about just a drain and refill either. We need to put some additive in there to flush it, to neutralize everything that's in there, flush the cooling system out and get a perfect 50-50 mix back in that system. Sometimes it's every 30,000 miles. Sometimes it's every 2 years. Everybody's driving. Every car is a little different on what they do. From that part, Chris.
And it also makes it different as to what coolant you're starting out with. Some of them lose that additive, the pH additive package, a little sooner than others. And so really, as part of what we do when we complete the multi-point inspection, that is one of the things that we check is the pH level on the coolant of the vehicle. Again, just making sure that it's right for the vehicle. So yeah, freeze point's pretty much a thing of the past. I mean, it's very important still yet, but you just don't see too many coolants or vehicles that need service because of the freeze point on their vehicle. It's the pH level, and that end of the day is really what's going to cost the money. That's going to eat up the components or rust out the components and start having coolant leaks or problems with block passages and stuff like that. So
yeah. Okay. Now, next one, Chris, is the automatic manual transmission fluid. And again, most people don't even think about changing that fluid. They think as long as there's fluid in it, it's okay. But that fluid breaks down just like everything else does. I wish we had a test strip to test that real easy, like we do the brake fluid or the coolant or whatever. But on that manual transmission, I want to take a color sample of that fluid. And as soon as I see it starting to change color, because we know what the color means, it's got a heat built into it, and the heat's in there because it can't lubricate from that part. If it was my car, probably over 30,000 miles, I'd be changing that, because it only takes a quart or two, and you got a simple drain plug to drain it. Put some in it. It's very, very inexpensive service to save a few $1,000s on a transmission. So I'd be doing it every 30,000 miles, but again, take a sample of that fluid, and as soon as it starts changing color, I'd be yanking it out and getting some new stuff in there. So anyway,
got another message there, I think. Here, let's see. We got another caller on the line, so
got
we'll
another caller. Okay, go ahead. Delber's asking,
here.
what does that service start out with a coolant flush? Josh, how much? I don't have that stuff in my head anymore.
For a coolant service, again, this is with the BG chemicals that we use previously to neutralize it, and then there's a additive that goes in after. There's a sealer that goes in as well after, and then the coolant, and again the machinery that we use. That service is $149.95. And the super cool will extend the life of that coolant or the additive package that goes into it to keep it from becoming corrosive or wet longer. So.
Yeah. Anyway, James Fern made a comment there how we took care of his mom and helped her out. And so, James, thank you for the compliment. Glad we got your mom taken care of. I got to do that for everything else, too. So I think we got a couple callers coming in here, too. So,
yeah, we've got good morning, Greg. You're live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Boys, what's going on there? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, Greg, I'm glad you finally called. I've been here and you've been wanting to call. So thanks for calling. How's everything in the helmet business?
I leave Saturday mornings for sleeping in, so I usually watch in my bed, and I'm just not awake enough. Not awake enough to make a phone call,
Yeah, I get it.
So what you're saying is it's a good thing this is not a two-way camera.
For sure, it's a good thing it's not a Zoom call. Yeah, no, I'm up today. That's why Brandon's giving me so much crap in the chat. He said, "You need to call in," and I said, "I've been trying to call in for months. I'll do it today." So.
Yeah, I got it. So how's everything in North Carolina?
Well, it's a little warm here, actually. You guys are making me feel bad talking about all this cold weather and ice and tires, and we just don't have that. We don't have that problem right now. It's not bad out here.
Well, I wish we didn't have it either. Trust me. I hate to freeze, but it's just part of the world. We can't change Mother Nature. So getting some. I saw you had quite a few helmets in the Daytona 500 too. That's pretty cool.
We had about 14, and none of them crossed the line first. But I did see a Ford one, so I'm happy for you on that front.
Well, I appreciate that too. So yeah, you had some good helmets there. I saw some posts on them things there. And Greg, I still can't believe what you guys do in those helmets and how good they look, and freehand and style. Those things is crazy. So if anybody wants to check out your helmets, Greg, where do they go look at your helmets at? What's your Facebook and what's your?
I'll plug our stuff. Just go to Off Axis Paint. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We have a YouTube page too. We don't have as many followers as you guys, but we're on the YouTube as well.
That's very cool. So love we come out and saw you there. Well, God, it's been has it been 2 years now since we come out, or maybe a year and a half? I can't remember when we come out and saw you.
It might have been longer. I don't know.
I don't know either.
You need to make a trip back out here.
We do need to come again. That's for sure. So. Anyway, so glad you're having some warm weather. Where are we racing this? Are we back at Daytona again this weekend?
We are back in Daytona. I think we're just in Florida for the entire month, honestly. We're racing Florida a lot. But I watched a truck race last night. It's pretty wild, and I'm sure the Xfinity race will be just as wild today. But you keep talking about all these hybrid cars. You think we're ever going to go to hybrid motors in NASCAR?
I think down the road, I bet we do. I hate to see it. I hate to hear it. But I bet it's going to turn into because I hear Formula One's already working on a 100% electric car. So I don't know.
They're definitely doing it. It's the what is it? The E Series. There's already cars. It's pretty wild how it actually works. They have two cars for the race. You got to run the first car as hard as you can. They have to go in, do not a driver swap. You swap cars actually, and then you run the rest of the race in the second car because the battery goes down so far.
Yep.
So they haven't perfected it just yet, but it's definitely wild to watch. But I hope NASCAR never. I think I hope we stay 8 cylinders for as long as possible here.
I do too, Greg. I think they will. I think there's still going to be that need for that noise and everything that you hear when you go to the racetrack. And that is one thing driving these hybrid cars and these electric cars. I do miss the noise that you hear and everything else from that part. But I'm afraid we're going to see it down the road. How quick, how soon, how fast, I don't know. But I hope you're right. NASCAR can stick in these V8s and keep them pumping as hard as we can. And, who knows, we can start getting some with these computers controlling them to get the emissions coming out of those things probably pretty clean from that thing. And that might keep NASCAR alive a lot longer, because that's what everybody's fighting. The government's put such tight mandates on these cafe ratings because of the pollution coming out these tailpipes. So hopefully they can get a computer controlled and put some more sensors and things on these things and clean them up a little bit better as they're screaming around the track at 9,000 RPM.
Something, yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to tell you guys you do a great job. I do watch every Saturday morning, and keep it up. And don't admit that you're speeding all the time, but you can't fool me and say you're being easy on that gas on the way home. I know you're fibbing on that.
They call it go home gear for a reason.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Greg, thanks for calling. Really appreciate it. And everybody go check out Off Axis Paint, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out all the cool helmets he does, and 14 helmets in the Daytona 500. So that's very cool, Greg. Keep up the good work, and keep the calls coming too, buddy.
Thank you guys so much. And Brandon, I'm sitting here waiting on my Chunky Poodle cookies. So you ship them anytime you want. Yeah. There
you go. Get them Chunky Poodle. If you haven't had the Chunky Poodle cook, I can't even spit it out. Cookies, you need to. They are awesome cookies. Of course, I hate to guess how much weight you gain with them too, but they're great, fantastic cookies. And Danny does a great job with those cookies and stuff. If you haven't had them, jump on. I'm sure she's on Facebook. She's everywhere. Get those Chunky Poodle cookies. As I spit it out there. Just right.
You gotta say that one.
They are crazy good. You can't just eat one either. That's the hard part. So anyway, Greg, have a great day, buddy. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you guys later.
See you, buddy.
0.
Anyway, just a few minutes left here. Got a few more callers. We can probably jump on the phone here real quick. 316-462-3673. And again, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, or if you want to talk about, make sure I'm missing any questions here. Anything, Josh? There it is, Josh. Brandon put it up there. Off Axis Paint for the.
To follow him on Facebook. And, I was going to ask him what his latest helmet was. We didn't do that.
Yeah, we didn't do that, did we?
It's okay.
Of course, when I was in his shop, God, maybe that's 2 years ago, maybe 3. I don't know how long ago that was. We went out there. I'm telling you, he's got a program set up that's unbelievable how many helmets are in there.
Yeah.
I mean, a semi-line going on, and he's got everybody doing different things. I mean, it's crazy. And then if you go check out some of the things they've done, how they can freehand that and airbrush that,
yeah,
crazy.
Very cool.
So go check out the Off Axis Paint, and then get on there and get your Chunky Poodle cookies bought from Danny Gibbons. They're very cool cookies, very great, delicious cookies. She's got all kinds of stuff out there too. So anyway, just a few minutes left on the show, and okay, got another question coming in here. How long does a vehicle have to relearn the ECM? That's coming from Rabbi Jackson. How long to relearn the ECM? That's kind of...
Yeah, so I'm not sure. The only thing that I'm wondering if he's referencing there is on some of these newer vehicles, if you go through and clear any diagnostic trouble codes in there, it does like a relearn through a drive cycle. And so basically that drive cycle is different for every vehicle or for every code as far as how long it takes to go through and do a complete relearn. And you'll have a diagnostic trouble code in there. It won't turn on a check engine light or anything like that until that is completed. So it's went through and done a relearn on everything. And, typically you drive the vehicle, 10, 15 miles, 20 miles maybe, and it will reset. But the thing is, during that amount of time of driving, there's got to be so much idle time, so much, lower speed, stop and go driving, so much highway driving in order for it to complete that drive cycle. So I'm not sure if that's what we're after or talking about there.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably where you're at, Josh, too. And the only thing I will throw in there too, depending on what your car you're on too, how quick it's going to do it, all that kind of stuff, because some of these newer computers are pretty fast on what they do. Some of the ones back in the day weren't quite as fast.
Yeah.
and some of the technology that's in those things today. And we've always talked about this on the show. If you could take and put on a screen and show everything that's being adjusted and running in a car today, to blow you away how many things are adjusting, going on, and doing everything else too. Okay, and he says, replace the ECM on a 1988 truck and still stalls out. Yeah, so Rabbi, we need to figure out a way to get a hold of you and get your 88 truck in here and take a look at it. And replacing the PCM didn't fix it, so it's probably not a relearn situation. You probably got something else going on with that truck where you're losing fuel pressure, losing ignition, or whatever it might be that's causing your problem. But would love to take a look at your 88 truck with you and try to figure that out. But replacing the ECM didn't fix it. It's not really a relearn issue to keep it from stalling out either. So
yeah, one of the things on that particular vehicle is back then they had actual PROM chips, so the data to go from one ECM to the other. And so I wonder if that got switched over. A couple of different maybe questions would help lead you in a direction there. So
definitely need to look at it and see what we got there, Rabbi. So if you want to call into the show, let's get that number back up there real quick. And or if you can't get to the phone now or whatever you want to call later,
yeah,
main store and ask for Josh. We'll get you in here and fix that part of it up for you to see what you've got going on in that part. So anyway, just a few minutes left on the show, Josh. We had a great open house last weekend here at the race season. And Darren McKinn, good morning. How are you, Darren? Good to see you there. Saw him here last weekend here. We had a lot of people out here to deal kicking off race season. It is race season.
Congratulations to you. If you want a prize, we gave a lot of stuff away. A lot of stuff.
Oh, we didn't we? So that's part of the fun, part of everything. And Parts Warehouse is coming together pretty well.
Yes.
Getting things set up there and everything else too. Got a lot of room to go there yet before we get the Parts Warehouse set up. But had a great open house. Hope a lot of people went down and saw the new warehouse and everything we're setting everything up with. So very cool on that side too. So come out and check out the Mach-E. Come out and check out the Power Boost trucks. Come out and drive the Bronco Sport. Help us get the 4,000 miles up on the Bronco and the Mach-E, so we can sell it to somebody, but also have some fun with them. And if you haven't drove a 100% electric vehicle, the Mach-E is very cool and very fun to drive. So come out and take a test drive of those things and have some fun there too. So Josh, any last minute?
So, one of the biggest things, again, with this cold weather snap that we're having was diesel fuel being gelled. Like I predicted already, we're about out of winter, but be prepared. If you need some help with that or some understanding with that, we're more than welcome to help you and explain what you need, why you need it, and then also get you the right products. There's so many different options out there from that side of things. And what I will say is you're going to get what you pay for.
There you go. Anyway, Johnny Nitro just popped in here. Josh, that tech expert that he is, right?
Oh, yeah. The tech
master is in the house, he says. They said, let's go take that Mach-E out and test it. Let's go. Come on, Johnny, bring it in here. Let's go take that Mach-E for a test drive and see how cool that is. So
we got to get that, the temperatures got to get warmed up so we can get that blue Mustang down the pass here before too long for sure and get going on that thing.
If you didn't see that, we had our yellow Mustang around for quite a few years. That's an 11. We now have a 21 GT that we've got bone stock. We're going to run it down the track, see what it does for an ET. Then we'll put a set of slicks on it, and then we're going to build it. And we're going to show you what it takes to build that Mustang into about an 890 car that we're shooting for, putting a turbo on it, doing all kinds of things. We're going to show you how much money we spent, how much labor we spent, how much faster it goes, and take you through that build as a process as we go. But we can't get it on the track yet.
Get the snow out of the way first.
Snow,
we're getting
ice,
close.
everything.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Okay, we're going to, Rabbi, if you will call into the show, 316-462-3673. I get it. You live in Hutch. We have a lot of people that still work in Hutch. We can surely figure out a way to get it over here, whatever, too, and from that part. So we'll figure that out, too. So anyway, Josh, time flies. You're having fun. It's 10 o'clock, and I think we're done.
Okay.
Hate to be done. But people, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for that. Please go to YouTube Live and get us liked over there. We need to get to 1,000 likes so we can do some more things with this show that we want to do to help grow it. But different things we want to do. But until we get there, we got to help me. So help us on YouTube Live. Anyway, thank our sponsors one last time, which is Big Corner Creative for all your advertising needs. Hey, anything you need for your business, if you need a web page, you need whatever, as those guys say, just Google us. BG Products, all the great preventative maintenance products we use right inside here at Hambelton Ford. And, of course, Go-To Rent. Hey, if you're looking for a rental car, 12 or 15-passenger van, or need something bigger to get to wherever you're going, get spring break primed up or whatever, give Stan a call right inside here at Hambelton Ford at Go-To Rent. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.